What's up everybody, Zach Draper here with a tutorial on how to set up all your gear for kiteboarding. So if you're ready, let's go. First you're just going to get your kite out of your bag, and then you're going to need to find the wind direction. So hold your arms out to your sides like this, and then you can turn around and have the wind on your back. Listen for it in your ears, and then with the wind at your back, the way you are looking, if you're looking straight, that is going to be the wind direction, right? So just like this, and then you're just going to want to make sure to lay your kite out in this downwind direction. So that same way you're looking, nice and easy, otherwise it's going to come up and hit you in the face. And then I'm just going to look for my inflate and deflate valve. On mine is right underneath this little cap right here. Should be in about the same spot on yours, and you should have a similar mechanism. You're just gonna cap that guy off just like that, screw on in, and you don't want to get this too tight. You can actually mess up the seal, so just slightly past finger tight, give her a good little twist, and then go get your pump. And this is a pretty standard pump right here. Got a nice gauge right on top. Here's your hose. That's where you attach it, and that's the end. And these are all of the different attachments for different kinds of kites. So you're gonna take these and find which one works for your kite, and then you're just gonna put your hose right in your pump, just like this. Good to go. Alright, and this is also your relief valve. It's gonna release some air out, make it easier to pump. And here's your leash. You're gonna attach that right there on your nice little loop. This is going to keep your kite from flying away while you're pumping it up. It will also keep the pressure off of your hose. And then just attach your hose just like this, nice and easy, and start pumping. Now what you're gonna do is make sure you get your whole body into it, and check to make sure your bridles are not wrapped around your wingtip. Give it a little pull just like that, and make sure your wingtips aren't twisted or anything crazy like that. Alright, and then once you are getting her closer to being pumped up, you're going to check your gauge. You're looking for 8 or 9 psi. If you don't have a gauge, you can feel it like this, or you can flick the leading edge like this. You're looking for a ping sound, and then you can pop that release valve if you need to go a little bit more. And when you are feeling that center strut, what you're looking for is a really nice hard center strut. It's going to tell you she's pumped up, or a ping sound in your leading edge, just like that. Perfect. Alright, and then once you're finished there, you can close off that release valve, and then you can pop off your hose. Perfect, and then just close off that inflate valve. Alright, and you can put that Velcro cap back down, take your pump leash off, and toss her to the side. And once you get that taken care of, it's time to learn how to handle your kite. So make sure you always grab it by the leading edge, and that wind's going to push the kite up into your hands, and then you can go ahead and clip off all of those strut valves, right? So walk your way up and down just like this. Remember, that wind's going to push it into your hands, and you can carry like that, and you can just find each of your strut valves and close those off. Should be one on each strut. Perfect, just like this. And then once you get that last one, got her clipped off, and you're down there on the end of the wingtip, you can flip it over. So to do this, you put one hand on top. It's going to be closest to the wingtip, and then the other hand's going to be underneath. Alright, and then you push down with that top hand and up with your bottom hand and flip it just like this. Now remember, that hand that is closest to the wingtip is going to be the one that is on top. And then just make sure you toss a little sand on there, or use your board or something to weigh that kite down. That way she doesn't fly away. Then you're going to grab your bar, and to flip it back over, you're going to basically just reverse these steps, right? So you're gonna pick her up and flick that sand off always grabbing by the leading edge. And then you're going to take that top hand, which is going to be closest to the wingtip, put it on there. Bottom hand is going to be opposite. Make sure you're not too close to the center. This is going to make it easier to flip. And then remember, just down with that top hand and up with that bottom hand. Just like that, nice and easy, and that wind's going to hold that kite into your hands. Alright, then you're just going to carry it just like this over to the water's edge. And you're going to be looking for a spot where you have plenty of room downwind of you and crosswind to lay your lines out. So flip it back over and throw a little bit of sand on there. And then you're going to take your bar and just downwind of your kite, you're going to unwrap those ends, the end of your lines. So take a little bit and just throw it under your canopy. And then you're going to be walking your lines out downwind of your kite. Remember, with your back to your wind, where you're looking is going to be that downwind direction. So take those, toss them under just like this, and start unwrapping them. Sometimes it can help to hold that chicken loop, that way it's not flying all over the place, lines don't get tangled on it. And then once you get down here to the end, you're going to pull your lines just downwind of your kite. It's going to make it easier to attach. Perfect. And then you're going to find the front of your bar. Mine's got a logo, or you can take that colored side. On mine, it's going to be the white. Sometimes it'll be red, and put that on the right hand side and toss it down. Then you're going to take your lines, and whichever feels more comfortable, you're going to take each line and put them in between each of your fingers. Right, so you go 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure they're not crossing over each other, anything crazy like that. And you can also use your right hand. Remember, either hand, whichever feels more comfortable. This hand you're grabbing your lines with is going to be your sorting hand. You're then going to use the other hand as your guide hand and guide them into your hand. Alright, just like this. And you can use your guide hand and kind of flick it out a little bit. Makes it a little easier. Just make sure those lines are getting untangled nice and smooth all the way down to the end. Leave a little bit. And once you get to the end, you can take that line that's in between your pinky and your ring finger, and then you're going to attach it to the wingtip. It's going to be the opposite side as your sorting hand. And then you can go ahead and make a loop just like this by pushing itself or the end of the line back through right there, just like that. And attach it right here on the wingtip, and then you're going to work your way down the leading edge. Alright, so make sure you're always on the center knot right here, and give her a nice tug just to make sure that it is seated correctly. And then just peek underneath the canopy, take off that next line. It's going to be in between your middle and your ring finger. Remember, you always want to go in order. Just peek under that canopy, grab your bridle, and same thing, make sure you got a loop, and just attach those guys, give them a nice tug, and finish up here on the opposite wingtip. It's going to keep your lines from getting tangled and make it much easier. And just remember, always center knot, otherwise you're messing with the angle of attack. And look out for a future video on that. Perfect, good to go. So we're going to run back down to our bar and double check all of our lines. Make sure they're not tangled. And I'm just going to put a little tension in my bar and then look down my lines and make sure none of them are crossing over each other. And here it's starting to look like my line is, or my outside line is wrapped around my middle line or my center line. So that's no good. So we're going to take that and we're going to walk it back out. That's why it's always good to double check. You never know if you messed up. As long as you keep all of those lines in your hand, it should prevent this from happening most of the time. Yeah, so just detach that guy, reattach it right on that center knot, and then you're just going to double check again. It's an easy. So it's going to double check at that wingtip. Just make sure you kind of put tension in each line and separate them. You should be able to see all the way down to your bar. And double check your lines again. Look down each one. Put tension in each line. and it should be good to go. Then we're going to walk our bar over to where we are going to launch. Alright, and you always want to be slightly downwind of your kite when you're launching. It's going to make it much easier on your friend if they are launching, or if you are self-launching, your bridle's not going to get wrapped around. So you see I went a little too far here. Hold my arms out to my sides, and I'm pointing just past my kite. I should be pointing just downwind of my kite with my arms to my sides looking up into the wind. Alright, now it's time to set up all of our gear, starting with our harness and then our board. Alright, so I'm going to grab my harness here and take my leash off to show you how to attach it. I'm going to look for my attachment points. There should be one either on the front or on the back. Now remember, the front attachment is going to be the safer of the both. This is because in a dire situation, it is much easier to pull in the front than try to find it in the back. And just double check, make sure that your safety is firing correctly. So just give it a nice pull. Should pop open. And then just go ahead and reset that guy. This can be a little tricky. Just take that loop and put that stick through it. Pull this guy down and then push her back up. And make sure she is locked down all nice. It's always good to double check this just in case. You never know if it's going to fire. Perfect. Then we're going to take that end with the release and we're going to attach that to either that front attachment or the back attachment. Now remember, that front attachment is going to be the safer one. You don't want this side attached to your kite side because you can accidentally pull it and that's going to be a bad day. Perfect, just like that. Or you can go on the back. And every time you do this, it's always good to give it a good pull. Make sure it's seated down correctly. Just double check everything. Rather be safe than sorry. And then you can go ahead and take that other side and clip it onto the hook. That way it's easy to attach to your kite when it's time. And then you're going to take that hook, and you're going to want that hook to be right in front of your belly button. So wrap it around your waist and tighten down that Velcro strap. Most harnesses have this. Make sure it's really nice and tight and nice and low on your waist. Find a nice comfortable position. And then you're going to find out how your latching mechanism works and latch that guy down. Just like this. This is a Mystic harness. A lot of them have a push in, or you just attach it around there and then tighten it down. So figure out how yours works. And then what you're going to do is take your hand and push on that hook and pull and wiggle on each of your tightening straps. You want to get it really, really nice and tight. Alright, now it's time for our board here. Check it out. Got my Tona Pop. I'm going to get my screwdriver, and I'm just going to make sure that each of my fin screws are tightened down and make sure that they aren't facing the wrong way. And make sure you got the right screwdriver too. I think I got to swap it out here in a second. It's a little too big. If you're interested, Jake Kelsick just made a video recently on how to do this. I'll put the link in the description below. Yeah, so get all those guys, and then it'll be time to set your stand. Alright, so it's good to go just in the middle setting for this for now until you get what you like. So just give it a little bit of bow out and tighten those guys down. And then once you got it all nice and tight, since you'll probably be using straps, I use boots personally. Slide your feet in and tighten those straps around your feet so you're nice and tight and you're not falling off. Then we're good to go. Sweet guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you learned some things. I'll be putting the link to Jake's video down in the description below, along with a link to my blog post over on seizethewind.co. Make sure you check that out for a little bit more of an in-depth tutorial. And yeah, I'm just going to leave you guys with this little shred fest I put together the other day. I hope you enjoy it. But till next time, share the stoke, shred the gnar, and seize the wind, guys. Till next time.
all unfurls. They clutching at all they pearls, and no one asking for guidance. Stimulus check, won't you cash app that? I got niggas and they said that respect they black. Politicians and they said don't know how to act. That's why we sitting on the wrong track, back to the long track. And it's okay to be rich. My mama always told me I was destined for greatness, but my mama also, she told me take care of the kids and everybody around the world that can't fight for it. So it's Hakuna Matata, beast on the water, pray to provider, please don't divide us. Keep that and try to face your intruder to be someone brighter.